What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Football La, the podcast. I am back, baby. Amsyar and Mikhail here.
Mikhail Cole here.
And yeah, welcome to the first episode of Football La, the podcast for the year 2019.
Woohoo! 2019, yo.
But first up, we're gonna discuss about something that's controversial for this episode. So let's just get straight into this, yeah? Alright, so recently we all got news of Ben Davies defaulting his national service to play in Fulham. What do you think, Mikhail?
Well, I think it's something that we don't expect because I thought this thing will be on for another few months. Now, we actually don't know that he's up for enlistment on the on February. Do you have any idea that he was called up on February, or it was reported in the news or anything?
Not really, because I'm not from MINDEF. but seriously, I don't think people would report their reporting dates on the. I don't think that's legal in the first place, right, to inform of anybody's enlistment online or in the news. So I think maybe I don't know, man. It's.
I mean, in our feeling is like the start of the season is here, and then we are so hyped up with the start of the season.
And then we have this kind of thing.
And then we have this kind of news that is that sandwich in between, the excitement, the joy of having to see local football start again.
Just turn the mic a bit.
So when we received the news, there was a big discussion between the local football community, and we now just want to share with you guys what we actually feel about this thing, and whether are we for Ben Davies to go ahead and default his NS to fulfill his dreams of being a footballer in the UK, or are we against his decision to not come back to serve NS? I mean, whatever his decision is, we also do not know. What the news reported was that he defaulted NS. He did not come back at a certain date in February to report and enlist for national service, and therefore he can be liable to a fine of up to $10,000 and or 3 years imprisonment.
3 years, man. 3 years is no joke, man.
And how this happens is that once he lands in Singapore, for somehow if he managed to come back, if he wants to or he has to, straight away in the airport he will be arrested by officials and to straight away either get court-martial, if I'm not wrong. So I'm not too sure how MINDEF will handle this thing, but what I know is that a lot of comments on social media have been raging about Ben Davies having not to come back, because it's quite a while since Fandi Ahmad we have someone sign a professional contract in Europe. And
we have the Fundy twin, the Fundy brothers, right?
Yeah, maybe
one of them is playing in Norway right now.
That's right. We'll talk about having to play in a higher league now that he signed for Fulham. Of course, in the under 18 team and not in the first team. The first team is playing in the Premier League as of today.
And they're gonna be relegated.
Yeah, that's why as of today.
The irony, boy, you signed for a club that's gonna be relegated.
It was last year where the news came where he signed a professional contract, and it was before, or was it during the time where it was confirmed that Fulham has gained a promotion?
Yeah, I think it was it was almost the size of Joseph Schooling. No, maybe not as big as Joseph Schooling winning the gold medal, but it's close to that. People were saying that until the NS topic came about. That's where people split apart.
Any Singaporean who represents our country in any sporting field that gets to shine on the big stage is a proud member of our country. I mean, the thing about Ben Davies is, yes, his history was quite different from the rest of our Singaporeans. He's not born here. He's born in Thailand to a British father and a Thai mother. But according to his birth certificate, he is a Singaporean and supposed to serve national service.
How is he Singaporean though?
And that remains a mystery. I was just discussing this with a friend of mine. Like, how is this Singaporean? Is it because his dad is based in Singapore? Okay, so his dad, Harvey Davis, runs JSSL Football Academy in Singapore.
He's not the owner of Harvey Davidson, right? No.
He probably rides one, Harley Davidson. He probably got a few in his garage.
If he's friends with Teo Hock Seng, then maybe.
That's a good one, I'm sure. So we're really excited to want to read out to you guys what are the comments people have on social
juicy
media.
comments from people online. Some people can be very nasty, so
So this is actual news from Channel News Asia, and I'm looking at the Facebook page of Channel News Asia. On the news reported saying FAS is extremely disappointed after footballer Ben Davies defaulted on NS obligations. So apparently, the Davies family did not have the support and backing of the Football Association of Singapore on this matter, and the
of
fact
course,
that
because he is now no longer eligible to play for Singapore.
the fact that they can help Ben Davies to appeal for his deferment, which was rejected a few times by MINDEF, saying that there was no intention of him having to come back, because if he signs for Fulham on a 2-year contract, he's just going to stay there for 2 years, and if he managed to get further than that to even secure under 23 position, or when the time comes for his age, or even first team, or even in the reserves, he might not even come back. So that was why MINDEF rejected his appeal, and a lot of us were saying that if he wants to go and fulfill his dream as a professional footballer in the UK, let's go ahead.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's not as easy as that. Apparently, you cannot just renounce your citizenship and take up another citizenship just like that,
No,
because
I think if you want to do that, you have to denounce your Singapore citizenship before a certain age, in order for you to actually be not liable for NS.
that's right. So even before you reach 21, you are still liable for NS
Yeah.
when you're born as a Singaporean, or if I'm not wrong, a PR. I have to look into that. I might be wrong, but that's how it goes. I mean, we have to serve our duty as a Singaporean son.
Yeah, I did my 2 years. It was fun. Yeah. How was your NS experience, man?
My NS experience was okay. It was like a 2-year holiday.
Away from life and responsibilities. What more can you ask for, man?
Yeah, what more can you ask more? I mean,
I think it depends where you're posted to anyway.
if they give me more money lah.
Was Ben Davies posted to the SAF, SPF, or the SCDF?
That was not known. It was just reported that he defaulted his NS obligations. And let's go through to the juicy thing. We've been talking and we've been delaying this.
If he signed, if he did serve NS, he could only probably play for SAFSA, because Warriors and SAF are no longer together. But if he got into police, then maybe he can play in the Young Lions or in Home United. And it would have been a good gain for you guys. But I think that's why he didn't sign it, because SAFSA is like miles away from where SPL, from where the EPL is.
Alright, so let's look at some of the comments people are saying. A lot of Singaporeans, they are supporting Ben Davies to fulfill his dream as a professional footballer. One of them, I won't say names, so one of them was saying, this kid isn't accountable to FAS, or any organisation in Singapore. He did what he thought was best for himself and his future. And let's face it, if we have the same opportunity, the outcome will be no different.
Yeah, what do you think? I think I
What
would
do you
have done
think?
the same. I might have done the same thing. I mean, if I had 3 different passports, I would probably do the same thing.
Another guy have another opinion. He said, I wonder why FAS is disappointed with Ben for choosing to default.
Bro, because he can't play for Singapore, that's why. I have a few comments from our MatchDay SD page. So
Go ahead.
Yeah. Somebody says, nope, wise Ben, period. Because we posted it and we put there, naughty Ben. And one of them commented, nope, wise Ben, period. Another commenter though did say that it didn't seem like he wanted to play for Singapore anyway, so no big loss. Do you think that's the case here? Did he not want to play for Singapore, or did he want to play for Singapore? Because he was called up for one of the national team games, but he did not play.
So apparently on the Fulham FC website, he was registered as a British citizen.
That's the only way you can get a contract in England.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. You have to be I think if I'm not wrong, if I'm not mistaken, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
The world rankings. It's about the world rankings.
You have to be in the
thing,
top 100 ranking in order for you to play in England to get a work permit.
Yes. That could be the reason why.
Yeah, exactly. So that could be the reason why he used his British nationality to get into Fulham.
Another one was very funny. Don't worry lah. After 10 years, they will welcome him back like a hero if he does well. You think he will do well? He will go ahead. I mean, I know Fulham will be going back to the Championship. So second tier football in England, in England. But
It's still better than the SPL.
if he were to go on all the way and make through to the first team, so he'll be playing Championship football. We can't predict whether Fulham will actually bounce back and go up back to the Premier League. But then again, if he does well, I mean, big salary jump from all. I mean, compared to most of us here, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be like from a 4-digit salary in Singapore to like maybe a 5-digit salary or more, maybe, per week, not per month but per week. That's more than you can ever earn in Singapore as a footballer, which is a sad reality.
So let's go on to this other thing that let's go on the other side of the story. If he were to come back to Singapore somehow, and he were to get caught at the airport, and do you think he will actually? I mean, he has no choice but to serve his sentence and then to serve NS.
Yeah. So
right?
that's another probably 5 years lost.
That's right.
At most, or no, at least maybe. Depends on. I don't know how it works here, but it's gonna be a long time not playing football, and that's not a risk that I think he'll be willing to take. So that means, right, if ever he signs for a big club and they come to Singapore to play in the ICC, he will never be able to play.
That's right. It's the same story. I know a story of Kevin Kwan, the author of Crazy Rich Asians. So apparently he's born Singaporean. He also defaulted on NS. He wrote the book Crazy Rich Asian, which now became a big hit movie last year. They filmed in Malaysia and Singapore, and apparently he could not step into Singapore.
So how did he?
He actually went to Malaysia to also film, because he featured in one small 1-second segment in the movie.
Right.
But I mean, he's the author, and he was born Singaporean. Right now, he probably renounced and take up the US citizenship.
Yeah.
Very successful man now. So author of 3 books, bestsellers right now, big hit movie. I can compare his story with Ben Davis. So I mean, on a different industry, but same case.
Yeah.
So you got charged.
I'm wondering where most people in Singapore stand on this case. Whether they should we be proud of somebody like him, or should we not care about people like this? Like should we be supportive of them, or should we not be supportive of them just because they have Singaporean backgrounds?
I will have 2 views. I'm going down the middle. What I think.
Same here.
Yeah, high five, man.
I don't want to be caught on the wrong side of the law.
That's right. We have laws to abide by here in Singapore, and if it's me, I will just give my side of the story. If it's me, yes, of course, if there's someone like that in Singapore that's doing really well in football, in a sporting in the sporting scene, we will definitely give our full support, like how we support all the other athletes who represents our country, and also whatever they do. However, if you are going to want to do that, there are ways to do it. And for example, Fandi Ahmad's son, Iksan and Irfan, they decided to do their national service. And during that 2 years of their national service, they actually get a lot of benefits and perks to go for trainings.
If you ask me, right, they didn't have quite a huge impact in the SPL, like when they were serving in national service. Irfan Fandi had a good stint in Home United. That's where he really shined as a centre back. Iksan did well for the Young Lions, scored a few blistering goals.
I think the surprising thing over here was that Iksan Fandi, he improved. Iksan and Irfan, they both improved in their game, especially for Iksan as a striker.
Yeah,
when he went back to Young Lions from Home United, he excelled. And do you remember the number of goals he banged in last season? And even for the
numbers, but
even for the national team,
he's got like
that overhead kick against Timor-Leste.
Yeah,
oh my God,
yeah.
best goal of his so far.
that was like my favorite moment of 2018. 21st century, yeah, Iksan.
You think that will replace Sundram's goal?
Nah. Who's Sundram? Oh wait, our ex-coach.
Oops.
I wonder how he's doing. Is he still playing? Is he still the coach for Laos, or did he get fired for that? No? Or is he still playing? All right.
They're giving him time.
Laos, you made a big mistake.
Yeah.
Just pulling your legs, Sundram, you're still a legend to me, okay?
So there are ways of going around it. I mean, if it's me, yes, I'll probably want to fulfill my NS obligations. Then again, if I go on and on and on and on, yes, I can be a big star player. I don't have to come back to Singapore. But your whole life, you'll be tied down by this conscience.
That you can't come back to Singapore and eat chicken rice.
Yeah, I mean, some of you might say, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, as long as you don't step into, there's so many countries, 180 over countries in the world, and you can just don't come back to Singapore.
Just a small dot. You don't need to come back.
But
to,
the thing is that just you have to be careful. What I know of is that even if you fly to a place and you have to transit through Singapore, even if you don't step into the country, they might catch you.
But even if you don't go out of the customs, will they be able to arrest you? Because legally you're not in the country. You're just there in the airport, and you. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah.
Isn't that considered like
But
international?
then again, there are always officials that will be keeping eye on you wherever you go.
True.
And then they might fish out your itinerary. They might fish out your agenda and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, if it's me, I'll come back to fulfill my NS obligation, just like the Fundy brothers, to play in a local club with the help of the football community. Of course, with some connections and all that. I mean, you need to really have good connections to do all this kind of thing. Of course, MINDEF will let you go do your trainings, play for local in a local league for this couple of years, and then you can sign your professional contract elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because
actually,
if you can sign it in the first place, with some string pulling. Handshaking and all that, you can do it again.
Licking, no.
That's what you said. That's what she said.
But yeah, if you ask me, right, I would make my decision based on where I was enlisted to. If I was going to home team, then I'll definitely stay and serve. You know why? Because that guarantees me, a spot in maybe Home United or Young Lions. But you see, these players who get enlisted into the SAF. They have a slight problem because I think many of these players that go into SAF, they end up playing in SAFSA. Like for example, Lionel Tan from Hougang United, when he enlisted into NS, he did not even play in the Young Lions or any other SPL club. He went to the NFL and played for SAFSA, which is a league that is much lower than our SPL. If you've seen games amongst the SPL teams and the NFL teams. No offense to any NFL teams, but the gap is far. There are clubs which are ambitious, like Warwick Knights, who had their launch the other day. It was pretty cool. But aside from that, there are many other clubs who still run very amateurly. Some players don't even get paid, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a huge gap. So I would make my decision based on that, where I'll be enlisted to and whether I'll be guaranteed a place and training time with the national team or with SPL club.
Good point, I'm sure. But you know what's the interesting thing about this is that 2 years ago I would not be saying this, that right now it's okay to play for the Young Lions.
Right now, yes, not 2 years ago.
So even
last season, yes.
Even for Irfan Fandi last season, he was still in police. But he managed to play for the Young Lions. So I believe that in any case, whichever vocation you go into in NS, MINDEF would not MINDEF, FAS would definitely arrange something for the players to sign a professional contract with one of the club.
Provided you're good enough. If you're not that good, then you'll probably end up in SAFSA.
So
which is pretty disappointing for me.
Back to Ben Davies, we actually haven't seen him play.
Yeah,
live.
How does he play?
That's
a very good point. I've never seen him play.
I've actually seen one of the under 18 video from the Fulham YouTube page. Yes, he was playing in that match as a winger or a midfielder.
Did he have presence though in that game?
I was just trying so hard to spot him because you know the thing about under 18 games like this, you don't have the names on the back. You have a number, and they don't tell you which number is he because they might always change numbers.
Yeah, true.
So I'm trying so hard to spot him. I mean, even if I can, it's not much impact of that kind of highlights to gauge a person's performance as compared to a professional football game.
Yeah, true.
That's on YouTube. That's really analyzed by pundits or people on YouTube. They will talk about the tactics and all that. So you know how good a player is if you see them play live, or if a pundit talk about them. Doing all the tactical things with the graphics on the screen and all that. Or the news tabloids are talking about you, so that we don't actually get much information
yeah.
about Ben Davies's performance.
So we don't really know how good he is, or whether he can compare to like Ihsan Fandi and Irfan Fandi kind of player.
Iksan and Fandi, they've been playing in Singapore their whole lives. I mean, minus the years they are on trial or with the youth team of Chile and this other country in Europe. But then again, we want to know if Ben Davies is actually good, and you can adjust to the local game. So it would be nice for him to come and test his abilities, in the local clubs. But of course, we don't really see that going to happen right now. That this thing has been going on, and he's already defaulted his NS. Definitely, if he comes back,
for a single SPL team or local team, right?
He was called up. Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, he was called up for the
we
game.
have no idea how well he plays.
The only time I saw him touch the ball was on the sidelines when he was playing 1-2 with Iksan Fandi as substitutes, but he wasn't even called up to the game.
I was hoping that they called him.
We were all hoping, and we will have cheered for him, and he will have heard us and got that much support, and probably would have acted differently. I wouldn't say I'm supporting him to come back to do his NS or whatever thing. It's just that it has already happened.
Yeah.
We're just discussing, what are the options that he could have, and also right now, how do we actually move forward from this?
I'm just wondering something, like what would have been different if he actually did play that game. You imagine if he played that game when he was called up to the national team and he played. I think we would all get a sense of how good he is and how well he plays. But the thing is here, right? Do they get like say if Ben Davies did play, would he still be able to default his NS and maybe play in Fulham and maybe like right now he can't play for Singapore ever again. And he has the option to play for England and Thailand if he wants to. But let's say he did play the Singapore game, will he be able to play for another national team?
If he managed to come on.
Yeah, if he came on for Singapore, would he be able to play for another?
If he actually scored that one cap for Singapore.
Yes.
All right, that's very interesting. I believe that is really based on perspective. Like if you score a cap for a country, you would definitely want to try to score the other one. But because probably he wasn't used as a player in that game, he might personally feel, I'm putting myself in his shoes, he might possibly feel that, why do you call me up and fly so far from the UK just to come here and warm the bench and touch the ball a few times?
Was it just I think like how controversy gets the attention, right? So maybe that was just an act or something, like we're gonna call you up, we're not gonna play you, so you have the option to get out of here. I'm not saying that the FAS planned that and that was what's meant to happen, but just a thought, just a passing thought,
Sounds interesting. I need to think really hard to answer this question, though. But it's a very interesting point. I believe it's another one that's up for open for debate from you guys. What do you guys think?
Yeah, let us know in the comments below what you guys think.
So once again, what Amsyar said was, if Ben Davies actually came on as a player and scored one cap for Singapore national team that time, would he have actually considered to want to stay?
Yeah. It's a very Let us know down below in the comments whether you're listening to this or watching this on YouTube, Facebook, SoundCloud, whatever. Anyway, I think we have come to the end of our first episode. I hope you guys liked it. Don't forget to subscribe and like or whatsoever below. Or follow us. We have an Instagram at MatchDaySG. Follow us, and I think that's all we have for today's episode.
Tune in for the next one. We will have more views on juicy news like this one.
Yeah, probably the SPL stuff, because SPL is going to start very soon, and we're going to do a SPL start of the season special for this.
That's right.
Yeah. Right, see you guys. Take
for
care.
today, bye bye.
Ciao.